Alrighty, hello YouTube, welcome back to my channel. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Cryptic Coil, and in today's video, I'm going to do another book haul, but I'm going to try to make this one not take so long. So I'll just go ahead and jump into the books, or into the book haul. I found some pretty cool stuff. So one of the things that I found was another copy of The Other Side of the Dark by Joan Lowery Nixon. Right. So I didn't already have this copy, but this is a pretty old school Laurel Leaf printing. Some chick named Carrie wrote her name in it. This is a birthday shelf book. It's from 1986. This printing, or it was copyrighted that year. So it was printed in 1987. So I guess it's not really birthday shelf book. But the copy that I already had was, one of these kinds of copies. And so Joan Lowery Nixon is kind of similar to Lois Duncan in a way. A lot of both authors' books were originally printed by like Laurel Leaf and then republished under Dell with kind of alternative covers. And this is just kind of an example of that. So that was cool. Oh, I don't know if I showed this one off already because I ordered this on the internet, but this is Pool Party by Linda Cargill. This is a point horror book. And this one is actually pretty rare. Not everyone has it. It's from the year 1996. So, it's a 29-year-old book. It's in really good condition. I don't know if I want to read it. I want to read it, but man, as rare as it is, I don't want to degrade the quality of it. But, and it's not perfect, but I mean, it's really good. And just the fact that it's so rare. I'll go ahead and read the synopsis on the back, or I'll go ahead and read the tagline on the front and the synopsis on the back. So the synopsis or the tagline on the front reads, "Come on in, the water's fine." And then the synopsis on the back reads, "Dead Man's Float? Sharon's party should have been perfect. The event of the year. After all, it was being held in the indoor-outdoor pool at her mother's exclusive new hotel. It was definitely a party any senior would love to be invited to. But somebody had invitations delivered before they were supposed to be mailed, and they went to all the people Sharon hardly knew. Even though things seemed kind of weird, Sharon decided to go with the flow. How bad could things be? Sharon should never have believed that everything would be okay. She should have known that something was very, very wrong, because now some of her guests might end up doing the dead man's float for real." And, it's a story we've heard before, except this time it's, around a pool party. But, how many books are, teen slashers that take place at a party, like R.L. Stein's or the Fear Street book, The Halloween Party. That was a slasher that revolved around a Halloween party as opposed to a pool party. But it's kind of the same thing. So, and I enjoyed the Halloween party, so I'm sure that pool party's good. All right, here's something interesting that I found at Goodwill for, I don't remember if it was 99 cents or $1.99, but it's The Brady Bunch in the New York Mystery by Jack Matcha. I'll read the tagline on the front. I'm not going to read the synopsis on back, but a trip to New York turns into a dangerous adventure when Peter turns photographer and the family becomes involved with four mysterious strangers. Yeah, I guess the Brady Bunch had like their own mystery book series. I never knew about it. This is a first printing from December of 1972. Like, my mother was barely a year old when this came out. That is hilarious. Oh man, that is hilarious. Here's something interesting. I have the British copy of The Surfer by Linda Cargill, which is a another point horror book. So I have the American cover and I have the British cover now, so that's pretty cool. Hang on, let me see. So on the inner back cover, there's photos of a bunch of other different point horror books, and they're all like the British cover. And I actually have them all. Not necessarily the British covers, but I have all these books. That's pretty cool. But yeah, it's awesome to have the American cover and the British cover. I'd like to collect all the British covers too. All right, so this was interesting. I found this. This is the novelization of the 1989 Michael Keaton Jack Nicholson Batman movie, and this thing's in like mint condition. It's from 1999, and I bought it at Goodwill for $1.99, and it came in a plastic protective sleeve, kind of like a comic book, cover, and the cashier was like, "Oh man, that was a cool find," and I was like, "Yeah, totally." So that was awesome. Okay, this was cool. So I found another copy of Crash Course by Nicole Davidson, and I already have a copy, but it's really beat up. And now I have this one that's like in somewhere between very good to near mint condition, probably closer to very good than near mint, but it's in very good condition for collecting. So this is my collector's copy, and this summer I'll read my beat up copy because that looks like a good summer read. It's kind of a cabin in the woods slasher. Then I got these Richie Tankersley Cusick books that I didn't already have. These ones are pretty rare. So this one is called The Drifter, and it's got a pretty cool cover. I mean, this dude has like kind of a late 80s, early 90s type of mullet. And man, if the mullet hasn't made a comeback, man, I see all these dudes like in their 20s rocking a mullet in 2025. Who would have thunk, I mean, I think it might have been cool back then, but I don't know if the mullet really has a place like now. It's like be a man and grow it out all the way, like me. All right. I mean, no shade, no hate. I'm just expressing that I'm not much of a fan of the mullet. But anyway, it's got a pretty cool looking cover. I dig it. I'll go ahead and read this tagline and synopsis on these because I think that my audience would appreciate that. So this one is called The Drifter, and the tagline on the front reads, "She was trapped in a house of sinister secrets." That's pretty cool. Let's see what year this was from. And man, this thing is like in mint condition. All right, 1994. I mean, the only flaw really is that the inner cover has kind of like yellowed or browned with age, but man, it's in such good condition. It still has the Hastings sticker on back. Oh, I'm gonna have a hard time removing. I'm gonna need like Goo Gone, so I won't be able to read the whole synopsis on back. But what year did I say this was from? 94. Okay. All right. So let me attempt to read the synopsis on back. Horror Hotel. Glanton House was Carolyn Baxter's new home. The haunted island retreat her widowed mother was determined to transform into an inn. As if in answer to her prayer, tall raven-haired Joss Whitcomb appeared at their door and offered to be the handyman in return for room and board. But Carolyn was wary. Joss was dark, compelling, dangerous. He was still a stranger, even after he saved her mother from a near-fatal accident. And now they were alone together in the eerie house he seemed to know so well. He knew the legend of a jealous sea captain doomed to kill again and again. But did he hear the ghostly whispers echoing through the halls at night? Did he know the unseen eyes that followed her every something was Joss? Why was he here? Something, the trust, this devastating drifter, something feared for her life. Okay, sorry about that. It is what it is, though. All right. So, Yeah, I can stack those there. So then I found this other Richie Tankersley Cusick book, and it's called Fatal Secrets. And cool looking cover. Let me read the tagline first, then I'll show you the cover. The killer is only a heartbeat away. Isn't that nice? All right, here's the cover. Very cool looking. So there's like this all like Victorian style looking home in the back that looks like it could probably be haunted. There's like these there's like a horse carousel ride and like these weird porcelain dolls and this like frightened looking teenage girl. Very good looking cover. I love the use of orange. Let's Man, this thing's in mint condition. This is from 92. All right, let's read the synopsis on back. Was it an accident or was it cold blooded murder? Why was Marissa so scared? What was she trying to say when she fell through the ice and drowned, leaving her sister, Ryan McCauley, floundering in a sea of guilt? Ryan's haunted by the feeling that she's been being followed, watched. Someone is trying to make her think she's insane. Why? And now the disturbing Charles Eastman, a total stranger, is a guest in their home because he said he was a friend of Marissa's. What does he really want? And why is handsome loner Winchester Stone, who once dated Marissa, always around whenever there's trouble? Ryan can't trust anyone. She's all alone, terrified, determined to discover Marissa's deadly secret before she meets the same fate. Okay, so it actually sounds super similar to The Drifter, actually. But, they both sound good. All right, so then I found a couple of Christopher Pike books, and I know that in Shady Side Library's recent book haul, I think he found these exact same ones. So these are like reprintings of Gimme a Kiss and Last Act. So I have a few other reprintings of Christopher Pike books. Like I think I have Remember Me, like one or two of those in reprintings with similar covers and fonts. But this is really cool. I've read both of these books in the past, like when I was a teenager. No, I read Gimme a Kiss as an adult. I was like in my early 20s, and I remember hating it. But on the Netflix show, The Midnight Club, I really liked the Gimme a Kiss episode. I love the noir detective portrayal of the story, and I like the fact that they made the motive a little bit more believable than the motive in the book. So yeah, but this is cool. I love Christopher Pike. I, so then at Goodwill for $1.99, I found this beat up copy of the Cataluna Chronicles, The Deadly Fire. I don't remember if this is number one, two, or three, but yeah, this thing is beat up. So, and I haven't read it, but I'm gonna hang on to this one. And when I do read it, this is my reading copy. I found this like young adult mystery romance called Windswept Mirror. Uh, it's a windswept mystery romance, and this one is called Mirror Mirror. And it's got a very nostalgic, feeling cover. I'll go ahead and read the synopsis on the back of this one. Mirror Mirror, should she keep her twins secret? And then here's the synopsis on back. And Gilly. Okay, wait. Why does I don't know if that's Gary or Jerry. Okay, why does okay? So I'm making a decision right now. Both names start with a G, and so I don't know if it's supposed to be a hard G or a soft G. So I'm gonna pronounce the G more like a J because I just think that it's cooler for a girl, especially. Why does Jerry want to switch places with Jilly? Jilly and Jerry are identical twins, separated at birth. They meet for the first time when they're 16 and find that they're so alike, even their boyfriends can't tell them apart. When Jilly visits Jerry's home, and when the vacation is over, Jerry convinces Jilly to switch places secretly. It's fun at first, but soon strange accidents begin, and Jilly receives frightening phone calls meant for Jerry. More confusing, Jilly is falling in love with Jerry's boyfriend. Is Jerry in some kind of trouble? Why didn't she tell Jilly? And why did she set Jilly up to be in such terrible danger? All right, that sounds interesting. This book is from 1983. Not bad condition for a book from 83. I mean, there's a little bit of a wrinkle on the cover, but the spine is doing good. The back cover's a little bit warped, but I bet you when it gets sandwiched between books on the bookshelf for like, a few months to a year, I bet you that'll get fixed right up. Yeah, that sounds pretty cool. All right, here's another repeat. Tower of Evil by Mary Main. So this is this is a book that I found back in the day when I first started doing book hauls on my channel. So it's been a few years. I already have a copy of it, but I found another one, and they're both in mint condition. Cameron Chaney featured this book in a video called like my rarest YA horror novels, and this is one of the ones that he showed. I don't know how rare it is. I never looked up prices on eBay or anything, but this is a Westwind publishing. But yeah, now I have 2 copies. And then I found yet again another copy of Through the Hidden Door by Rosemary Wells. I think I'm at the point where I have all of Rosemary Wells's point horror books. But yeah. Oh wow. The same chick who wrote her name in one of the other books that I found wrote her name in this one. It's the same chick. She wrote her name in The Other Side of Dark. She must have donated them to the same thrift store. And I guess I went and bought up all her books that she had from like childhood. Huh. Interesting. All right. So I have a few more. I'm not gonna like read the summary and taglines on these ones. Sorry. But I found some more like modern day scholastic YA middle grade horror books. And so I found another Cynthia DeFelice that I haven't that I didn't already own. I do like the cover because it has like a modern day movie poster type of vibe going on. It's called The Ghost of Fossil Glen, and I didn't already have this one. Found it at a thrift store, so I went ahead and picked it up. So then I found the series. I don't know if it's just a duology or not, but the author is Paula Morris, and the duology is called Ruined. So part 1 is called Ruined, and I love that cover. I love that girl in the white dress in the graveyard. I mean, just awesome. And then I love this cover too. It's very classy, very enchanting and compelling. It's called Unbroken, a Ruined novel. I read the synopsis on the back of these at the store, and I just knew that I would enjoy reading them when I can get around to it. And then I found this one, and this has a very interesting cover. It's not like the most aesthetically pleasing thing I've ever seen, but you just look and you're like, wow, what's that about? And it's called R.I.P. Eliza Hart by Alyssa Sheenmel. All right. And there's this girl, like fully clothed, like jeans, tennis shoes, Chuck Taylors, right? And she's underwater at the bottom of a pool, covering her head and her face. And then you look at, the title and the author's name, and they're half submerged underwater. I mean, so that is just a really cool looking cover. Let's go ahead and read the synopsis on the back of this one. This is from the year 2017. All right, so here's the synopsis. The past is closing in. When Eliza Hart, the most popular girl at the Ventana Ranch boarding school, is found dead on the cliffs outside her dormitory, Ellie Sokoloff is determined to figure out what happened to her. After all, Eliza was Ellie's childhood best friend. Never mind that ever since Ellie arrived at school, Eliza has spread terrible rumors about her, calling her a liar and a stalker, when all Ellie wanted to do was rekindle their old friendship. Or that Ellie's claustrophobia limits where she can go and what she can do. Or that Ellie's sweet mate, Sam, is the only one who will help her because to everyone else, Ellie looks like the top suspect. Can Ellie clear her name and solve the mystery behind Eliza's death? Her hunt for the truth will uncover secrets she never imagined, sending her deep into her own memories of her childhood with Eliza Hart. Okay, and that sounds good, sounds like a pretty compelling mystery. Some other chick wrote her name in the cover. Lovely. All right, I won't read the synopsis on the back of this one, but this is one by Judy Blume, and it's called Tiger Eyes. And the reason I picked it up, I haven't read anything from Judy Blume since like second, third, maybe fourth grade at the latest. But the reason I picked this one up is because I live in the state of New Mexico, and the state of New Mexico is where this book takes place, and so it just made me feel kind of represented. And this book is from 1981, so it's like 5 years older than me, so I thought that was pretty cool. Then I picked up this Robert McCammon book, Gone South, and Kelsey from Slime and Slashers, just loves his writing. But, all I'm really in the mood to read right now is either like philosophy or horror. And maybe some stuff like that might pertain to my career, but that's about it. I'm not really interested in reading a whole lot else other than like horror and some philosophy, but and then whatever might be relevant for the sake of my career. But this one, I kind of regret picking it up. I wish I hadn't now. It's got like the same cover on the inside. I read the synopsis on the back, and it just doesn't sound like something I want to read. It sounds like almost like a romance between like two homeless people. No thanks. All right. Then I picked this up because it was only like 99 cents at Goodwill, but it's A Rotten School by R.L. Stine, Night of the Creepy Things. I highly doubt I'm going to read it. I really do, but it's something to throw on the R.L. Stine shelf. I'll go ahead and while we're talking R.L. Stine, I'll show you another one that I have. This is a reprint of Return of the Mummy. So I have a collection of these reprints, and it's just a reprint of Return of the Mummy. I mean, what can I say? It's not in the worst condition, but that's a pretty severe bend or fold on the back of the cover, but whatever, it's not that bad. I found another Betty Wren Wright book. I thought that I was at a point where I had like all of her books, except maybe I might be missing a few alternate covers. But this one is called Haunted Summer. Never heard of it. And the tagline on the front reads, "Is there a ghost in Abby's house?" And it's like, look at that. A ghost story by Betty Wren Wright. Who would have thunk? But that's the cover, and it's like these two kids running away from like a graveyard at night on their bikes. So that's a pretty cool looking cover. This book is from the year 1996. Never heard of it until now. I mean, it's crazy. And I'll read the synopsis on the back of this one because it's Betty Wren Wright, right? All right. You said you saw a ghost. Abby loved the music box from the moment she saw it. Her aunt usually sent hand me downs from her cousins that she didn't like or that didn't quite fit, but the music box was just perfect. Perfect until it began to play by itself, and each time it played, someone in the house saw a strange girl wearing a white cap. Is there something strange going on, or is Abby's house really haunted? So yeah, that sounds pretty good. I gotta go on like a Betty Wren Wright spree. I really do. I'll just show you this one. This one is called The Seer of Shadows by the author Avi, AVI. I have a number of this author's other books. They're the only author I know that only has one name, like Madonna or Cher or like Moses. Okay, but yeah, this is kind of like a historical fiction murder mystery scandal kind of story. I have a number of Avi's other books, and then I see Avi's other books at the stores on the shelves, and they don't all sound appealing to me, but this one looked good, sounded good, so I picked it up. I'll show you this one. Okay, so it's a hardback copy of the Scholastic biography of Thomas Edison, Thomas Alva Edison. I bought the paperback copy from like the second grade book Scholastic Book Fair, thinking it was a horror movie just by looking at the cover. Because you look at the cover. I mean, it could have easily been a horror book, right? And imagine my surprise when it wasn't horror. I like little me was incredibly disappointed, but I had it in my desk, and so during reading time in class, I was like, I guess I'll read it. And then I read it, and I just really fell in love with Thomas Edison. I really liked the story. It was a happy accident, and then I grew up, and then the internet became a thing, and then I found out that the internet loves Nikola Tesla but hates Thomas Edison. But I love Thomas Edison just because I read this book in third grade. And now I have a hardback copy of it, so that's awesome. All right, this one actually sounds really cool. This is a Yearling Newbery book, and I guess it's a Newbery Honor book by Marion Dane Bauer, and it's called On My Honor. And look at that cover. Okay, you see this boy who, had the same haircut as me back in the 90s, and he's taking his shoes off by the side of a river with his bike. Well, there's two bikes. One is standing upright, one is lying down on its side. I think that's significant. I'll read the synopsis on the back of this one. On your honor, Joel's father said, you won't go anywhere except the park. On my honor, Joel repeated. During a bicycle trip to the state park, Joel dares his best friend Tony to a swimming race in the dangerous Vermilion River. The boys have been warned never to go near the river, but Tony can't let Joel think he's scared. Both boys jump in. When Joel reaches the sandbar, he turns and looks for Tony and finds that he has vanished. Joel is stunned. How can he face their parents and the terrible truth? Okay, so that sounds pretty good. Now, is that technically horror? No. But is that horror? Yes. Okay, so that actually sounds like a pretty good story. All right, I have a couple more. So I'll show you this one. All right, so this one is called They Came from Center Field. And I read the back, and it's basically about a group of kids that are playing baseball, and then a spaceship lands, and these aliens want to play a game of baseball against them. And I don't know what kind of stakes are involved, but it sounds pretty cool. The author is Dan Gutman, and I think I have one or two other Dan Gutman books, but this is another Little Apple Scholastic book, and I think it's also from like 95 probably. Let me see. Yeah, this is from 95. Then I found another little Apple Scholastic book called The Return of the Third Grade Ghost Hunters by Grace Macaron. And that's the cover. And it just looks like this little clique of kids back in the like 80s or 90s. Let's see. This thing's in great condition. There's a little bit of writing on the inside, but this is from 89. A great condition though. Then I found this one, Peanut Butter and Jelly, The Haunted House by Dorothy Haas. I think I have one or two other Dorothy Haas books, but there's like these kids painting like a spider web together. And I guess it's about like a Halloween themed birthday party. It sounds interesting. Wow. More writing on the inner cover. Great. Excellent condition other than that. But um, this one sounds pretty cool. The Friendship Pact by Susan Beth Pfeffer. And this is another vintage Apple paperback. Let's see what year this was published. The cover has some wear and tear, but this is a birthday shelf book. It's from 1986. So it's as old as me. Great looking, nostalgic looking cover. That's totally 80s. I'll read the synopsis and the tagline on this one. So the tagline reads, "They never thought their favorite star would come between them." And the synopsis on the back reads, "The Big Crush. Tracy Newfield is madly, desperately in love with Ross Perlman, along with every other teenage girl in America. Better known as the Rabbit, Ross is the star of Joyride, Tracy's favorite TV show. Tracy and her best friend Andrea are his biggest fans, and when they learn that Rabbit is coming to town to give a benefit concert, they're sure of one thing: they've got to meet him. And they make a pact that they will meet him together. They try everything. First, Tracy approaches her father's friend at the city newspaper, and Andrea calls up the most important businessman in town. They even try the Meet the Rabbit contest at the local radio station. Then Tracy gets a call that's too good to be true, an invitation to a party for Rabbit at the mayor's house. Tracy is torn. She wants to meet Rabbit more than anything, but Andrea isn't invited to the party. How can she choose between her best friend and her favorite star?" So that sounds pretty cool. Sounds like the kind of story where there's like a moral. And, this sounds like something that I'd like to read. All right. I guess I'll save, I think I do have a few more books. Um, yeah, I do have a few more books, but I think I'm gonna just um, yeah, I'll go through a few more. Okay, so in one of my more recent book hauls, I showed you another Daniel Cohen book, like short stories that he wrote or compiled or something. This is another one. This is a Minstrel book publishing, and it's called Real Ghosts. And this thing's like in super good condition. So I now have like, and I guess that was kind of Daniel Cohen's thing, is a whole bunch of ghost stories. So I think that they're just short ghost stories. That's all. This is in good condition. It's got a really cool looking cover. I mean, that looks pretty dope. All right. Then I found this one called Saved by a Ghost: True Tales of the Occult by C.W. Ledbetter. And let's see, what year is this? 1979? No way. This is in excellent condition, if that's true. Yeah, this is in excellent condition. Um, in Astral Murder, The Perfume of Egypt, A Test of Courage, and Other Weird Stories. I want. I just want to look at the table of contents. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I really want to read this or not, but I just couldn't resist when I saw it at the store for like $2 or whatever. Excellent condition. All right, there was that. Um, I found this. Okay, this is a novelization of The Exorcist, and I guess it's like a 40th anniversary of the film one. And this thing has some like water damage and stuff, but it's got a good healthy spine. Man, I hope that's like water or coffee or something. Anytime I find a book with water damage, I'm always like my mind goes to like the worst case scenario, like what kind of liquid did that? And it's like always worst case scenario. But yeah, I've heard good things about the book. I tried to sit through the movie and I couldn't. Not because it was too scary, but just because it was like so old. I just couldn't get into it. I'd like to see it now though. I wonder like how I'd feel now. But anyway, I found this. This is like a modern Goosebumps esque type of series, and it's called Phobia. And this one is called The Creeping Clown, and the author is Jessica Gunderson. I think I've heard of this series before. I found it used at a thrift store, and I guess it used to belong to a local like elementary school library. It's from 2019. I don't see a bibliography where there might be other books in the series, but I guess this one is called Phobia. I, I think there's others. I think that this is a series. I mean, it just really has some like R.L. Stein vibes, but it also has like some cool black and white style artwork. It's very modern. But yeah, so that was interesting. Let's see, one, two, and three. I'm almost done. I'm almost done. I want to show you these, but I'm looking for one thing. I have so many books sitting here on my couch. I did pick up a couple more bookshelves, so I'm gonna get to organize these like really well. All right. I guess I'll just show you these. Okay, so I found another copy of America's Most Haunted True Scary Stories, and I thought it might have been or America's Most Haunted True Scary Places, and I didn't already have this one, or at least not this with this cover. Oh, it was originally published as the 10 creepiest places in America, and I think I have that lying around like right here. I'm just not seeing it. And at first I was like, I have this other one, True Scary, America's Most Haunted True Scary Creatures. I mean, this is a whole series. I think I have them all now. I might be missing a couple of variant covers, but for the most part, I kind of have all of them. Here was kind of an exciting find. Alfred Hitchcock's Ghostly Gallery. So this is a whole bunch of like short stories. This thing's in super good condition. I don't know if it's ever been read. Great spine, covers not damaged. It says copyright 1962. When was it printed? This paperback edition was published in 1984, so it's older than me. Excellent condition. Oh, and there's like a whole bunch of different authors that wrote the short stories. This would be a good one to read. Like, if only I had the heart to read it. I mean, it's so pristine. Um, I found another Mary Downing Hahn book, Time for Andrew. Now, I already have this one, but this one's like in mint condition, whereas the other copy that I have is beat up. So whenever I do get around to reading it, I'll be reading that beat up copy. And then the last things that I want to show you are the Phyllis Reynolds Naylor books. Okay, so Phyllis Reynolds Naylor is famous for writing Shiloh. We read this book in third grade together as a class, and once we were done with the book, we got to watch the movie in class. And I loved it as a kid. It was like sad at times, but the payoff at the end was great. And I mean, I love dogs. So, I mean, this is like one of my favorite reads from childhood. And I'm really grateful to my third grade teacher for, making it the required reading in class because I doubt I would have otherwise read it. But we read this one paperback copy, and I find it out in the wild every so often, like the one that I read as a kid. But it's always beat up, and like I'm holding out for a pristine, mint condition one. And this one used to belong to some kind of library, and there aren't too many. Oh, I missed that. I need to do a better job of checking for stuff like that. It's a little heartbreaking. Great looking cover though. Anyway, I found a ghost story. I'm all sad. I found a ghost story that she wrote called Jade Green, a ghost story. And I have a few other Phyllis Reynolds Naylor books. This is from the year 2000. Um, uh, I'm not going to read the whole. Whoa, this video was 42 minutes long. I did not intend for this video to be so long. My bad. Well, anyway, since it's been that long, I guess I will read the synopsis on back. Secrets. Orphaned 15-year-old Judith Sparrow brings two secrets to her uncle's house in South Carolina. One, that her grief stricken mother died in a madhouse. The other, that she has disobeyed the only condition to living in her uncle's home. Nothing green is allowed in the house. Judith can't bear to part with the photograph of her mother in its lovely green silk frame. Surely this one small defiance will not jeopardize the happiness she finds in South Carolina with a family at last and new friends, especially Zeke Carey, the miller's son. But Uncle Jeffrey's house holds a secret of its own, and Judith's small picture frame, hidden away at the bottom of her trunk, unleashes a powerful force that seems determined to bring that secret into the open. Or is Judith simply following her mother down the path toward madness? So that sounds like, a good read. And then the last thing that I wanted to show you was How I Came to Be a Writer by Phyllis Reynolds Naylor. So, Stephen King has his book on writing, and then R.L. Stine has his book, It Came from Ohio. And it looks like Phyllis Reynolds Naylor has one too. So if you're interested in writing, maybe you could read those books. I have all three of them, and I really need to check all three out. Well, anyway, sorry that this video went this long. I was kind of hoping to keep it at under 25 minutes. That did not happen. But oh well. I know that I do have some viewers who enjoy long form content like this, so that kind of makes me feel better. I understand that these videos aren't for everybody, but it does feel good to know that they are for somebody. All right, well, thank you guys for watching. Horns up, peace out, and have a great rest of your weekend.